Over the past couple weeks, we've been looking at a familiar situation. Your partner has a behavioral addiction, which may include any combination of gambling, gaming, pornography, whatever, which he won't admit, won't get help for, and won't have a conversation about. The advice everyone perpetually throws towards this problem is to just leave him, be patient, or the ever vague, detach with love. None of these are what you actually need today. So what are your actual options besides nuking the relationship or surviving off fumes of hope? That's what I'm going to dig into now. But first, I'm Phil Shea, addictions counselor. I work both with people in active addiction and those who are directly affected by their partner's addiction. What I want to provide today is concrete steps and specific tools, not merely mindsets or philosophy, but things you can do this weekend. That being said, let's start with a perspective that will shape what you do. You're going to stop trying to fix him and start trying to protect yourself. It's not the same as leaving him or giving up on him, but it's clear that if he doesn't pull back from the brink, you don't want to be pulled over the cliff with him. His recovery is for him to do. Your stability is for you to protect. Where much of the advice out there is aimed to prepare you to leave him, my goal is to prepare you for whatever comes next. So step 1, financial separation as protection, not punishment. This first step is the densest, and I'm putting it first because it's also the most important. If it feels like a lot, don't worry, I'll put the steps in the description so you can come back to them. So here's what you can do. Open a personal bank account that he cannot access, ideally at a bank where neither of you have accounts already. Your direct deposit now goes there, and whatever he needs for shared expenses is through direct transfer, no direct access for him. Next, pull a credit report. In Canada and the US, a free annual report is the standard. Your country likely has an equivalent. With that, you can find any joint debt or accounts in your name that you might not be aware of. After that, freeze your credit card. This will take 10 minutes per bureau, free and online. We're going to also want to dispute any fraudulent accounts. This will remove the account from your credit report, may freeze and flag the account with the lender, and it'll protect your future borrowing abilities and debt liabilities. To be clear, what it doesn't do is notify the police, require you to press charges, or prevent you from continuing a relationship. There's a small chance that the lender investigates and contacts your partner separately, and if it's a large enough account, they may escalate it further without your involvement. However, the alternative is leaving fraudulent debt in your name, which can haunt you for decades to come, with damaged credit, liability for money you didn't spend, and difficulty getting housing or loans. Slightly more nuance. If your name is on a joint credit card, it may be trickier to remove your name from it. You may need to close the account or refinance it. If it's just a card you're authorized to use, however, then you can be removed without closing it. The final part of this first step is for if you own anything jointly. Talk to a lawyer about what you own and what you don't. Family law lawyers usually offer a free or low-cost initial consultation. Just a single meeting, no commitment, but it could help clarify your situation. I'll be clear though, this is not a betrayal. This is what a responsible adult does when she's living with someone whose financial behavior is predictably unpredictable. One exception worth naming briefly. If he's already openly acknowledged the problem and is actively in recovery, there's a different approach. Taking over the finances with an agreed upon allowance for him. This works in some committed partnerships, but it does also carry serious risk if he's not genuinely on board, including potential for domestic violence. I'll cover that scenario in a separate video. For now, the steps in this video assume he hasn't admitted there's a problem yet. So, with all that sexy, fun, financial stuff out of the way, let's move on to step 2. Find Gam-Anon or a counselor who helps partners of people with addictions. Gam-Anon is the partner equivalent of Gamblers Anonymous, like how Al-Anon is a group for the partners of people with problem drinking. It exists in most cities and online. The bar to attending is simply showing up. You don't have to talk, pay, or commit to anything. If the first group isn't a great fit, I recommend trying other ones, as each group is independently run, so the vibe can vary quite a bit. If groups aren't your thing, find a counselor who specifically works with a partner of people with addictions. Note that this isn't a couples therapist, but one for you specifically. This is the single highest leverage thing most partners avoid doing. Typically, they'll get him into treatment, or at least they'll try to, and they themselves never see anyone. The asymmetry is part of what keeps the dynamic going. Step 3. Stop being his accountability partner. It can be very tempting to fall into this trap. At some point, he'll offer to let you monitor him, check his phone, hold his cards, know his passwords. It usually shows up after a fight or after a particularly bad night, framed as, "Look, I'll prove I can handle this," or "See, I have nothing to hide." It sounds like accountability, but it's actually the opposite. It's a way to demonstrate control without ever admitting there's a problem to control. And the moment you accept the role, he gets to point at you as a safeguard instead of facing the question himself. Here's a script you can use. I'll paste it in the video description for future reference. I love you and I want you to get better. I'm not going to be the person who checks though. That has to be you or your sponsor or someone who isn't also the person you live with. I can't be both your partner and your supervisor. Modify it to whatever suits your situation, then practice saying it until it sounds normal. You'll likely need it. And if/when he pushes back, which he probably will, with something like, babe, I really need you to do this for me, your response is, I know you do, and I'm telling you I love you too much to take on that job. Once you've stopped being or avoided becoming his supervisor, the next pattern to interrupt is one you've likely been running for everyone else. Step 4. Stop running cover. You've likely been making excuses to family, friends, and maybe even coworkers. Not necessarily massive lies, maybe only small accommodations. He's tired, work's been crazy, he's not feeling great, he's under a lot of pressure. Each one feels like throwing up a shield around him, and that may be true, but that same shield is a barrier isolating you from your broader community. Of course, you're not obligated to tell everyone everything that's going on. Exposing him isn't necessary for your own well-being, but the shield wall has to come down. Put bluntly, stop offering explanations on his behalf. If he can't make it to his brother's birthday party, that's for him to explain, not you. When his mother calls you to ask what's going on, a complete answer is, I think you need to talk to him about that. But those are his relationships you've been managing. What about your own? You don't want to air out your dirty laundry every time someone asks, but you also don't want to keep running cover. Vagueness is your right. No one is entitled to the full story unless you want to let them in. For most relationships, like acquaintances or coworkers, you may be offering explanations preemptively before anyone actually asks. If he consistently can't make it, an accurate but vague answer is sufficient. He's been dealing with some things lately. If someone notices something is off, you can say, we're going through some stuff right now, I'm not ready to talk about it yet. Closer friends may pry a bit, which can be answered with, I appreciate you asking, I'll come to you when I'm ready. Or, he's dealing with something personal, it's his to share, not mine. The main thing you want to avoid is misdirections like, everything's fine, or he's just stressed. Vagueness keeps the door open, but actively reassuring people closes you off. Step 5. Weekly documenting. All you need to do is to document one thing this week. It's for your eyes only, not for taking to court. Partners in this situation routinely gaslight themselves, thinking things like, was it really that bad? Am I exaggerating? Maybe I'm remembering wrong. Pick one thing that you feel has been misconstrued before and might happen again. Write it down, when it happened, what was said, what you saw, with specifics. Vague memories get easier to dismiss. Specifics don't. This is for the moment months down the line when you're trying to decide whether you're being reasonable. Past you will have left present you with the evidence, which can be a gift of sanity and clarity. So that's the toolkit. Note that these 5 steps will not make him quit. That's not what they're for. They're there to get you back to solid ground financially, emotionally, and socially, so that whatever comes next, you're standing on your own 2 feet. If you've gotten this far, I already know you're taking it seriously. Click the link below for a free strategy call. I talk to partners specifically, and we'll talk about your situation, not his, what you're actually facing, and what your next move is. As always, I'm Phil Shea, Addictions Counselor. Have a great day.